Lord and Lady, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, change the things I can, and the courage to know the difference. Well, confidence, courage, there's a lot that helps you decide the difference between the two. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the acceptance of others. Other people have lives to live that don't have anything to do with us. Most people don't even recognize that other people exist, and they're very caught up in their own play that they are desperately dancing through, trying to make sure that they do everything they need to do to feel healthy and taken care of, protected, honored, all of those different things. Now, that means that they're going to do things that aren't always nice. They're not always thoughtful. They're not always mindful. But what they are is the past. And learning the difference between what you can do something about and what you have no control over, we've talked about this in another video, is a matter of accepting that you have no control over other people's behaviors. You have no control over how they've treated you, how they will treat you. You do to a point. We'll get to that in a minute. Or how they're going to act at any time, what they're going to think, what they're going to do, all of those things. The way you do have control is by setting boundaries and saying, this is what's okay, this is what's not okay. Stick by those boundaries. But also know that your boundaries protect you, and you need to accept that other people don't behave, think, act, I think we said that with behave, the same way everybody else does. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own axes to grind. Everybody's got their own closet monsters. Everybody's got their own issues that are driving them to do the things that they do. Whether it is the desire so that everyone else feels what they feel, or everyone else never feels what they felt. Everybody has an overriding reason for doing what they do. And it is the acceptance that they are themselves doing pretty much the best they can, just like you. Now, their actions, more than likely, were cringe at some point in their life. Very few people are perfect throughout their lives, and I'm sure there's some people out there who have been perfectly nice and never done anything wrong to anybody else, and that's exactly what you tell yourself in the mirror every day. Wait, no, that's me. Never mind. No, I'll cut that part out. But accepting that other people did something and that there's nothing you can do about it. Accepting that there is a schism between the people that you know now and the people they were then. Understanding that that also does not release them from responsibility for their actions. It does not make you responsible for exposing yourself to them to repeat the same behavior and or somehow forgive them for their past behaviors. What you do have to do is accept their behaviors. That is how it was. Whether that had anything to do with you or not, we're going to guess it probably didn't. Because as we've talked before, and as psychology says, most of what we do has nothing to do with everybody else. Most of it's projection and how we perceive the world and how we perceive our role within it. And accepting that those people aren't going to see themselves that way as you do. because they did not receive the treatment you did. And accepting that you didn't do anything to cause them to treat you that way. You didn't do anything other than be at the wrong moment at the wrong time. It had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with themselves, how they feel about themselves, and how they feel about the world. And understanding that and accepting that is hard. Because we grow up taking the blame. We grow up thinking it's our responsibility. That's why so many children become so wrapped up in codependency and approval seeking and things like that. It's because they don't get approval. They don't get noticed because people are wrapped up in their own cringe. They want to do whatever it is they want to do, and how that affects you doesn't really always play into their forethinking, and they brush it off and go, oh, you're resilient, you'll be fine. We're not. We are resilient, but it's not fine. It wasn't okay. And if you're watching this video, you probably already know that. You know, on a surface level, not always deep inside, but it's a goal for us. You know that it wasn't your fault. It has nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with them. And there's a fair chance that their own issues made them not care how it affected you. So the answer to that is to go, other people do cringe stuff. It's not up to us to judge them for that. They've got their own karmic debts to pay. They've got their own judgments to face. And life brings those things back to them. But it's up to you to recognize for yourself that you had no role in that. That it wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything to encourage it. It was entirely them reacting out of their own nightmarish past. Doesn't make it forgivable. Doesn't make for a reason to ever allow them back into your lives. But what it does do is help you understand and accept the fact that it's not your fault. That you had nothing to do with it. And one of the greatest crimes to this is that it wasn't personal. Because they didn't look enough outside of themselves to think about how it would affect another person. Because that wasn't important to them. And it hurts when you realize that your feelings weren't important to them. Because you'd think they would be, but they're not. Because they're wrapped up in their own crap. And you don't have to forgive them. You do have to forgive yourself. Because you didn't do anything. No matter what you've been telling yourself all these years, it wasn't your fault. Had nothing to do with you. All you did was be born. So, I need a hug. I'm going to go get a hug. Thank you very much for listening. May the Lord and the Lady hold you ever in their hearts. Praise be to Pan. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the clicky things, comment. Give me some feedback. Say hi. And have an amazing day. And I wish you peace. Have a great day. Bye-bye.